Okay guys, this is part 2 to the snowball bow, snow cone, however you say it, shaved ice, I don't know. We've always called it a snowball. But anyway, in the part 1 video, if you haven't watched it yet, we made the centerpiece already. We painted the styrofoam ball and made the little centerpiece. Okay, and now we're going to make the bow, which, you know, is going to definitely take a little longer than it took to make this. And our bow is going to resemble this one, except for it will not be a Lisa Frank bow, and it will have the snowball in the middle of it instead of the little leopard cub, although I love this bow. But anyway, it's going to be similar. I had also posted on Facebook a La La Loopsy bow like that, but it was smaller, and I put one of these La La Loopsy tinies in the middle. Anyway, the size that we're going to be working with today is, you know, about a medium size. I don't know, my definition of medium is always different than somebody else's, so you might consider, I mean, this to me is medium, about a medium size. Let's see, if you measure it, it is, you know, a little over 5 inches, so, you know, I think it's a medium-sized bow. Some people might consider it large. But anyway, alright, supplies. Glue gun, glue sticks, lighter, scissors, definitely need your needle and thread. Let's see, now the barrette size that I am using is a 60 millimeter, and that is about a 2-inch barrette. Okay, so that's the size I'm using. I would not really recommend going smaller. You know, I mean, I guess it could work, you know, you just don't want too heavy of a bow. And if you want to go a size larger, that would work also. Okay, so that's the size I'm using. This is a loopy bow, so we don't need the creasing tool. Well, actually, yes, we do. Never mind. So if you use the salon clip to grease your bows, then you will need that. Okay, as far as the ribbon goes, this is what I am using. And you can see it has no, well, I guess it has popsicles and ice cream cones, and it's polka dot. It's so precious. You can purchase this ribbon at ohmygoshgoodies.com. They also have, you know, I guess she also sells her ribbon on Etsy. So this is what I'm using, and then I have 2 coordinating colors to go with it. So I will leave the link to that if you want to get that ribbon. You don't have to. That's just what I'm choosing to use. You know, it's summertime, so very appropriate. Okay, now in order to make the loops, we're doing 4 sets of loops. The measurements will be, I measured each of the, I cut each of these, and you'll need 3 different, you know, coordinating colors. I mean, you could go 4, but I'm using 3. I've got the, you know, the pink with the silver foil polka dot, and then this is just kind of like a blue with several, you know, different colors polka dot. And each piece is cut to 24 inches. Your loops will be a little over 2 inches. Okay, and then the bow in the middle, that is cut to 22 inches. Okay, and I have 2 pieces here. I have another piece of the hot pink with the foil, and it's gonna go on the inside. Okay, now you may also want to get a little alligator clip, you know, just to kind of hold the ribbon onto the barrette. Okay, there are so many different ways to do this. and we're going to cover our barrette and kind of sew the loops on. But you could use wire and just kind of wrap it around, you know, whatever your preference is. This is how I'm doing mine. So you do need some coordinating 3/8 inch ribbon. You know, this is just a hot pink with white dots on it. And we're going to cover our barrette with it, and you also need a piece to wrap around the middle part there. Okay. Now, first thing we're going to do, and if I forget anything, I will mention it eventually. You want to get your barrette and cover the outside of it. Eventually, once we wrap all of our thread, or, you know, around the mid part, we're going to, you know, put a piece over that too to cover it. Okay, let's see. This piece measures not quite 3 inches. You know, it's like 2 3/4, something like that. We're just going to take our glue gun, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue at the top of the barrette and stick, and of course heat seal each end of your ribbon, and I've done that already. Okay, we're going to start and glue that piece right there. I'm going to need another glue stick. And I do apologize if this video is going to be long. I'm not very quick at doing this, you know, and talking about how to do it. Alright, and then I'm just going to put a sliver of glue, glue that piece on. And then whatever's left over, you just kind of glue that down as well. I think covered barrettes and clips look nice anyway, even though you can't really see them. I just like the way they look. Okay, so that's what we have, and we're going to leave this inside piece uncovered until we get finished with the whole thing. Okay, so I'm just going to set this one to the side, and we're going to start out with our loops. Now, you want to make sure and put them in the order that you want them. You know, what loops are going to be on top, in the middle, and so on. And I'm going to put my blue one first. Okay, so I'm going to put the printed side. You know, you want all the printed sides, you know, facing, you know, the same way. Okay, you're going to put your barrette on the opposite side. Alright, so the blue, and then the printed ice cream ribbon, and then my pink is going to be on the bottom. Okay, so I am stacking them up, and my pink one is last. It's going to be on the bottom. Okay, and you don't really have to worry about heat sealing yet, because we're going to cut all that off. I mean, you can if you want to. Okay, now also another thing that's important when you're using printed ribbon, make sure that it is, you know, right side up. Okay, so if your barrette is going to be like this, so your bow, you know, is going to be like this, or what, you know, you just want to make sure. And actually, we're going to start at the at this side, but you know, you want to make sure your printed ribbon is like this, you know, and not upside down. You know, just be aware that of which way you're going with it. Okay. All right. Now, and then I'm going to leave about, I don't know, not even quite an inch, maybe even a half an inch over right there. We're going to place our barrette directly in the middle. I know it's kind of hard to see because the barrette's covered in pink. You just want to leave a little bit. I mean, unless you want, you know, big long tails or, you know, hanging, but, you know, you don't have to do that necessarily. It's up to you. And we're going to trim this off whenever we're, you know, whenever we're done. Okay. All right. And it depends on how you want to put the barrette in. You know, if you put it in the opposite side, you know, that's totally up to you. Okay. And I just want to make sure that I have everything. Alright, make sure you have your, and actually, mine was upside down. I did have it right. Okay, now I'm going to start at the other end. Whoo, goodness. You got to make sure it's going to make your, you know, your barrette go the wrong way. Okay. Now, let me replace it. Now, okay, and just kind of hold on. Now, if you want to use an alligator clip, which I always do that, I always kind of clip it like that, you know, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure your barrette is centered. Okay. And then basically, you know, and there's all kind of ways to do this, but, you know, basically with my needle and thread, what I do is I just kind of go down, you know, start in the front here and push my needle in and pull it through, make sure it's knotted, and I'm, you know, double thread here. And then basically I just wrap it around at the top. You know, you want to start at the top there and, you know, crease it and you just pull it until it's creased. Okay, and I'm just going to remove that now. You see how I did that? All I did was put my needle in and then I just started wrapping it. Okay, and then that's, you know, that's what you have. That's what it looks like. Okay, and then once you've wrapped it around a few times, 3 times or so should be sufficient. You kind of adjust it. Then you just tie it off. Okay, and you just make a, you know, a little knot, and you want to make sure you pull it as tight as possible. And then, you know, you can make a little knot through the thread, or you can, you know, sew it into the ribbon. It doesn't matter. Okay, now we have our ribbon attached to the barrette, so now you can turn the barrette over and we're going to make our loops, and then we're going to pull them apart. Okay, so basically you just make your first set of loops here. Now, to measure with this particular bow, I go about 2 1/4, 2 1/2. You know, I would not do less than 2 inches in height. Okay, I'm just going to measure again real quick. Alright, that looks good. And then once you have your, you know, you just take your ribbon, or your thread rather, and you wrap it around 2 or 3 times. Okay. Turn it over, and then tie a knot, or thread a knot, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And like I said, there are, you know, some different videos on how to do loopy bows. You know, this is just one way. Okay, and then basically you're repeating, you know, the step. Okay, you just measure your loops, make them even with the first set. Okay, and then you take that thread and you wrap it around a few times. Okay, and then you thread it in the back or at the bottom. Okay, and watch your spacing too. You don't want them all bunched up because you got the rest of the barrette. Okay, alright, third set. We're doing 4 sets. Okay. wrapping my thread around again. Pull it tight. And I'm just tying it off. This is an easy thing to do to a headband too, like a covered headband, and you can get one, you know, that's already covered. Alright, last set of loops. Push mine down just a little bit. Oh, where's my thread? Okay. Alright, make sure it's even, and mine's a little short, so I'm going to push it up a little bit. And make sure it's about even. I mean, you know, if it's a little teeny tiny bit off, it's not a big deal. Alright, and then I'm going to go around that last set, pull it tight. And then tie it off in the back. And that's it, okay, as far as attaching the loops to the barrette, okay? And then you just simply cut that piece off. Now, we're not going to put the tension bar back in and, you know, cover this piece yet. That's pretty much the last step, the last thing that we're going to do. So just go ahead and close it for now. Okay, and at this point, you know, you see these two sections here. If you want to cut them, you know, maybe at a diagonal, you know, or whatever, if they're long enough, you could, you know, maybe cut them with spiky ends, you know, whatever. You're not really going to see them unless you want to make them long enough to be seen. And then basically you heat seal. My lighter is not working too great, probably because of the fan. Got my table fan going. Okay. Oh, and another thing, and this is totally up to you, but I highly recommend it for this bow because the loops tend to want to scrunch back up. Either get you some hairspray or the Stiffen Quick. I used to use Stiffen Quick a lot. I never used hairspray, but I find that the hairspray is not only cheaper, it's it dries much quicker, and I find that it, you know, it holds. I mean, you don't need a whole lot of this, whereas with the Stiffen Quick you need to spray a lot of it to get it as stiff as you want. Okay, and then you just start you know, at your first set of loops, and you separate them. Okay, remember my blue polka dot is going to be at the top, and my ice cream, you know, in the middle or whatever. Oops, did that wrong. I actually did put my barrette wrong, but that's okay. Alright. Alright, blue at the top. And you just, you know, basically right now want to separate it. And then these are going to go, you know, back here. And you can mix them up. You don't have to have all pink and the, you know, you don't have to have, you could mix it up to where the pink is up here or whatever. With these kind of bows, I just prefer to have all the, you know, the ribbons in the same place. But you don't have to. Okay, and then basically on the other side, we're just opening it up. Okay. And then the last set of loops. Okay. And basically you want, with this particular bow, you're going to have the centerpiece where the boutique bow is going to go. Okay. So for now, after you separate your loops, I wouldn't worry too much about their position, because you're going to be doing a lot of rearranging anyway once you glue that boutique bow in the middle. Okay, so for right now, you just kind of set that to the side. Okay, and then we're going to work on our boutique bow. Now, you can, if you have a wood burning tool, you can, you know, use it to slice off. You know, I'm just going to do the boutique bow. You can do the twisted, where, you know, it's like the figure 8. You can do that type of bow. We've done that with the pigtail bows, but I'm going to do the regular boutique bow. So I'm just going to, you know, you can use the wood burning tool, or you can cut it off and, you know, use your lighter. Having lighter issues. Okay. And basically, you know, we've done this before, and basically you just make your first loop, make your second loop, and I'm just gonna look at the spacing here real quick. Okay, and then I'm going to make my third loop. I'm tucking that in behind that tail, and there we go with the fourth. And you really don't need much of a tail, or, you know, whatever for this one, because that snowball is going to be in the middle and you're not going to see it. Okay, so that's what we have. And if you crease it with your fingers, you know, the accordion fold, fine. With this being such a tiny bow, you know, I usually need to get my salon clip. Alright, and then I'm just, you know, how I do my little measuring. Make sure my loops are even. You know, you can pull them down like that. And I do the same, you know, with the top loops. Make sure they're the same. And I'm just going to pull this up a little bit. Okay, it's important that your loops are the same size, basically, you know, they're symmetrical. Alright, and I believe I have enough thread left on this one. Okay, so you want to re-knot your thread in your needle. And remember, we go in through the back. Alright, and then in order to crease, I just feed that thread around. Pull it tight. And take our salon clip off. And after we've creased our bow, tie it off in the back. And then, you know, if you're watching this video for the first time and you haven't seen my other videos, I know I'm going kind of fast because I've already made several of these bows in other videos. So if you want to look at some of the other ones, I'll go a little bit slower. Okay. Alright, and there we have the little bow. And I get this tail right here and snip it off. And it doesn't matter if it's short. And you get your lighter and you just heat seal. And that's so cute by itself. Then what I do is I take the top two loops and the bottom loops and I just pull so it elongates the bow. because it fits in a little better, you know, with this type of bow if you elongate it. You see how I did that? And then I just simply kind of push the loops together, you know, and this is kind of, you know, what it looks like. Okay, and you just put your fingers in the loops and pull until you get it the way you want it. Okay, and there you go. Now, you can stiffen these separately. I have this little stand here that you can tell it's covered with hairspray and stuff. But anyway, before we do any spraying, you want to get the middle of your bow here, and before you put any glue or put anything in, you want to get these middle loops and just pull them out as far as possible, and then kind of, you know, flatten them at the same time and just kind of hold it like that, if that makes sense. Okay. Then you want to take your glue gun. Let me get my glue stick in. Okay. And then I just, you know, put a generous amount in the middle, and then I take and I match up, you know, thread to thread. You want to put it directly in the center. You want to hold it there really tight, you know, until it's in there pretty good. Okay, and I just kind of push it, and you know, this is what you have so far, but I like to go, you know, a step further and put your thumb on that bow in the middle, because it's still not completely dry, but at the same time you can pull your loops and adjust them how you want, and then you can spray everything and let it dry. Okay, so you see what I'm doing? I'm pulling, yeah, I'm still holding this bow in place, but I'm pulling the loops. And then I switch hands, you know, or whatever, and I'm doing the same thing to the bottom loops, and just kind of get everything where you want it loop wise. Okay, and then you want to get this the way you want it as well, because once you put that hairspray and that stiffener on it, you know, it's going to be pretty concrete. Okay, so this is basically what you'll have, what, you know, or what, get it however you want it. And that bow is right in the middle. Alright, then you want to open up the back and put your 3/8 or whatever. I do recommend, you know, this is the 3/8 ribbon, but with, you know, the smaller bows like this, I like to use the 1/4, but it's your preference, whatever. You can, you know, do whatever you want. So I'm just going to clip a little piece off here, heat seal one side, and basically you want to go right in the center and start so you can wrap it around. Okay, so I've got it right in the middle, and then basically I'm just going to feed that piece of ribbon around the center of the entire bow. Okay, see how I did that? Just kind of go around, and that way the bow's going to be in there real good, and you can readjust your loops. So I'm pulling my loops, pulling real tight, trying to get everything to stay together. Alright, then I'm just going to cut that excess off, heat seal, and glue it down. at this point I've probably messed up my loop job, but easily fixed. Alright. Alright, so now that it's in there permanently and you have it wrapped in there, you can certainly, you know, go back and pull your loops out again. Get them where you want them permanently. You can even take this bow, you know, by the fingers again and stretch it, because I don't think it's going anywhere. Alright, and once you have everything, you know, basically the way you want it, then you spray it. Okay. And I like to put mine on, like I said, on this little stand right here. And we haven't put the tension bar back in just yet. Okay. I mean, at this point, you know, we could cover the back or whatever. But, you know, we'll just do that in a minute. Alright, and I'm still straightening a little bit my loops. Alright, now I'm going to be out of camera view for just a second while I spray. Okay, now I'm going to set this in front of my table fan for just a minute, and it's going to dry. And while I'm waiting for it to dry, I just want to mention real quick about the Facebook giveaway, and this is of course for May 2016. The giveaway at the end of this month is for a bow or a pair of flip-flops of your choice, and to enter the contest you have to post a picture of your craft work to the Big Southern Bows Facebook page. And I've gotten a handful of posts so far, but not near enough, you know, to have a good group of people to pull from. So I really encourage you guys. I had so many you know, people sign up for the first one, and you know, I really love to have a good group this time as well. It doesn't have to be a hair bow or, you know, anything that we've done. It can be something, you know, a door wreath, you know, anything, a painting, anything that you have. It's a do-it-yourself project or artwork or whatever that you've done. Post a picture of it to the Big Southern Bows Facebook page, and I'll leave the link, and you will automatically be entered, you know, into the drawing at the end of this month. Okay, so I just want to, you know, remind everyone about that. Okay. Alright, so we want to get our centerpiece here that we made in the last video. And, you know, this is what we're going to put in the center. Another thing that you can do with this, you don't have to make this kind of bow, but I did want to show you. This is just a basic boutique bow, and you know, I just kind of wanted to show you with the coordinating colors what it looks like. I mean, even just a basic bow, you know, with the snowball in the middle. I know it's kind of a lot of the same colors. You know, you could be really creative with the colors, but I just kind of want to show you what it looks like just with a basic bow. Okay, you certainly don't have to do it in the middle of a loopy bow, but I kind of was killing two birds with one stone. I wanted to you know, show you guys how to do this, and I had several requests for this, you know, type of bow. Now this is not the funky loopy bow. I know I've had a lot of requests for that one too, and eventually I'll get to that one. You know, this is just, but it is sort of, you know, over the top. Okay, so our last step involves, you know, putting our, and this is pretty dry, that's why I like the hairspray. Okay, now, I guess before we put the snowball in the middle, we want to go ahead and cover the back of this. Okay, so I'm going to get my 3/8 ribbon, and I'm going to kind of measure what I need here. And you just kind of cut off a piece, and you want to heat seal both sides. Okay, and you see how you have all the strings and the, you know, it's not very pretty or whatever. Okay, well, you just simply glue a piece of 3/8 ribbon over that, and you're good to go. Okay, and you see how much better that looks. Okay, and then you can snap your tension bar, you know, back in the middle. And for some reason, I am missing my tension bar. Oh well, I'll find it in a minute. But anyway, you just want to snap it back after you put your tension bar. And again, you might want to adjust your bow just a little bit, you know, to make sure. And if you need to go back and respray it, you know, or whatever, that's up to you. One thing I wanted to show you before we finish our final embellishment, I made the La La Loopsy bow the other day, and it was definitely smaller than this one, but these little tinies, they fit perfectly in the middle of these little bows. I don't know if I can get her to stay, but anyway, you want to use the E6000, you know, to glue these in. So anyway, perfect for that. And Shopkins, you know, fit in the middle. These little cameos, they fit perfect in the middle of these bows. I don't have an image in the middle, but anyway, I just wanted to give you some more options. Rhinestones, anything like that. Okay. Alright, so then you want to get your snowball, and basically before you glue it in, you might want to place it in there and position it where you want it so that you'll know where you're going to glue it in. Okay, so I'm kind of looking, and I think the ball part is probably going to be the part that you're going to want to glue in the middle. Okay, and just have the cone sticking down. So we're going to get our glue, hot glue gun, and you know, there's some ribbon part right here. You may want to put the glue on the majority of that, and you want to, you know, put a generous amount because this is the part that's going to be sticking. Alright, and then just carefully position it in the middle. And hold it down. And again, if you didn't watch the video on how to do the snowball, it's part 1. Go back and watch that. And there you go. Look at how cute that is. I mean, you can't find that in a store somewhere, and it's, you know, if you can do it yourself, you know, it certainly is unique. And you know, little girls love stuff like that. You know, snowballs are fun. It's summertime. You could do a 4th of July one. You know, that would work. Make some matching flip-flops. Okay, so that's what we have, folks. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. Sorry if this video was terribly long. I just, you know, not very good at going fast. Thanks so much for all of the support I've gotten on Facebook, and I just keep getting new subscribers every day. I'm so excited about that, and I encourage you to post your work to the Facebook page. I would love to see what you guys have come up with and enter the contest. And oh gosh, I would love to see some snowballs that you guys have come up with. That would be so awesome. So thanks for watching, and have a good day.